Greetings YouTube and welcome back to my channel. It's taken a while, but I finally got my hands on a Honda CRF300L. I can't wait. Let's have it. Well, there it is. It has 14 miles on the clock, so it might feel a bit tight and everything might feel like a new bike because it is a new bike. I already like it a lot. So my instant first impression is it feels much higher than my GSA. I'm going to obviously invariably be comparing it to the GSA. Which is a silly thing to do because they are completely different bikes with different intentions and purposes completely. My next instant impression is the seat feels very hard under my backside. Obviously this is in the process of being run in, so I'm not going to be able to go too mad with it. And the very kind folks at Grafton said, don't bother putting any petrol in it, and not unless you feel like you're going to run out, which is very nice. It's got about a quarter of a tank. Said I could have it for about an hour. Said not to take it off-road as well, which I will respect. I can get an idea of what it feels like on the road. I'm going to take it up into the woods though, so it's in a more fitting environment. So my next impression, and I do point out that this isn't a Tech Fest review, it's not me going into loads of details about mechanics and specs and stuff, it's just my opinion, what I think of riding this bike as a layman, as a rider. And throttle response, it feels quite responsive, I think. Certainly on par with the Triumph 400 Scrambler X, which has got an extra 100cc on top of this. Yeah, it feels quite responsive. I already know I like it. I can tell I like it. I kind of knew I was going to like it before I even sat on it. It's funny, isn't it, how we have in our heads preconceived ideas of what things are going to be like, and it kind of biases our opinions probably a bit. I knew I was going to like this from the get-go. And it's absolutely fab to see the sunshine at the moment. So it's very narrow. I knew it was going to be very narrow. I'm not used to narrow bikes, but it feels like you could throw it around very easily. So further thoughts as I'm riding along. The switchgear, the indicators feel very positive. I can tell you the horn operates very well, because every time I try and indicate I seem to operate the horn instead. The brakes feel nice and responsive. I'm not sure what brand the brakes are. I will have a look around the bike when I get up into the woods. I so want to take it off-road. I really, really do. But I'm not going to. I'm going to be a good boy. Now, something that people have complained about with certainly the old CRF, I don't know about this 2024 model, but it's the suspension, they say, is too soft. And I've been kind of bouncing around on this, and yeah, it does sag a bit, and it feels quite spongy, but it would be a potential upgrade, I think, if I was buying this bike. I think another thing that I would be looking to upgrade is these. They're quite flimsy. If I was taking this green lane in on a regular basis, I'd want some bark busters on there. Right, it's 20-mile-an-hour limit up here, so I'm going to try and obey it. This is a steep old road. I road cycle up here from time to time. It's far easier on the CRF. Let's stand up to see what the riding positions I stand in. That's pretty good. The handlebars feel perhaps a touch low for me. I'd probably want to put a riser in there. But the foot pegs feel nice and secure. Considering it's only sub 300cc, I'll tell you exactly what it is. In fact, what I'm going to do is when I walk around the bike and have a look at it, I will flash the specs up on the screen. It's better than me trying to remember it. All I would be doing is looking at my phone, reading it, and then trying to remember what I just read. Thank you. So I'll flash a few specs up on the screen whilst I'm walking round. But the suspension is soaking up this uneven road beautifully, as you would expect it to. The wing mirrors, or the rear view mirrors, whatever you want to call them, they're not vibrating particularly for a small capacity machine. I'm used to stuff in the past vibrating away, this isn't. Right, now, if I wasn't being a good boy, what I would do is I would turn left here and blast up this byway, which is very sandy, and they will know from the mess the bike would be in that I've been over it. Let's just do a little bit. There we go, I'm off-road. Right, I'm going to park up just here. And take a look round. If I can find the side stand, where's that hiding? There it is. Well, there you go. I was just saying a second ago that if I was not being a good boy, I would blast up this byway, which is a lot of fun. It's very sandy. It's known as Sandy Lane, I believe. However, since I was last here, it looks like yet another byway has been downgraded and is a bit in the dust. No entry for cars or motorcycles, and there is a barrier across. Now that has been there. I've been riding up and down this lane for I don't know, since I was 16 and I had my first bike on the road 40 years ago, and it's gone. They're all disappearing. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about this beauty. Let's have a look round. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, certain bike manufacturers, they conjure up certain images of colour schemes. Now, for me, a Kawasaki, particularly an off-road Kawasaki, it's got to be lime green. It just has to be. That's the colour. A Suzuki would be yellow, maybe blue. Yamaha's going to be white, sometimes blue, white and red, you know, that kind of thing. Honda is going to be red. So it just has to be red. However, this is grey and white, and I think I actually prefer it. I think I prefer it to the red version. It looks really smart to me. So, as I've said before, this isn't a tech fest, it's nothing like that. I'm not going into lots of mechanical details, I don't know enough to do that. All I can tell you is what I think, but I will just blast a few figures to you. I'm going to read them off my phone because I'm not that clever at remembering stuff, and I'll also flash them up on the screen. So we've got 26.6 newton meters of torque at 6,500 RPM, and this is from a 286cc single cylinder bike, double overhead cam, as you would expect. According to Honda's specs, it's 1-speed transmission. I can tell you that's not the case at all. It has 6 speeds, as you'd expect. There's lots more stuff that I don't know. They don't know what the fuel capacity of the bike is because that's blank on their website. However, I will put that up on the screen for you. And we are looking at a 21-inch front wheel, an 18-inch rear wheel. There's lots of traffic going past, you have to excuse the noise. So there's lots of tyre choice for you, lots of off-road stuff you could put on there. And we have also got, what have we got? A seat height of 885 millimeters. I think that's grown a little bit since the last model. It's also shed 4 kilograms in weight since the last model. So it's getting lighter and higher. It's a very, very narrow profile, which you want, and I really, really like it. Nissan brakes, yeah, and they seem to haul the bike up just as you'd want it to. Right, the speedo clock arrangement is very simple, not a lot going on. What I don't like, one bugbear, is, I know it's got to go somewhere, but this, it's right in the way of where you want to see stuff. I know it's the same on all of them, on the previous model and this model, but I would have thought that could have been rerouted somehow so it wasn't completely in front of the information. So you've got your tacho revometer, whatever you want to call it, fuel gauge, the time, your speed, your gear selection, how many miles you've done. This has now done 19 whole miles. Your remaining fuel, the warning lights you'd expect. It's got ABS. If you're going off-road, apparently press and hold that down and it turns off the ABS, and it will bring up this light here. Let's see if I can do it. There we go. That's now telling me that the ABS is off, and I will be able to power slide on it. Not that I'm good enough to power slide on it. And then I can turn that off myself. Maybe I have to hold it again. I was also told when you turn off the ignition that resets to the default of it being in place, the ABS. So I don't think there's a lot else for me to say. I've just been gushing praise about the bike. It is what you'd expect. It's not super powerful because it is only a 300cc bike at the end of the day, but it feels very refined. All the switch gear, all of that stuff, it feels like you would expect it to feel for a Honda, which is of good quality, and everything feels nice and tight, like you would expect with a new bike. What I usually find with bikes when I test ride them is I just want to get the filming done and then take it back and then get on with my day. But with this one, I'm gonna have a little buzz around on it because I'm going to enjoy it. I know I am. I just know I'm going to enjoy it. So the question is, would I want the Honda CRF300L in my garage? Would it be a part of the Two Wheel Dreamer stable? Well, yes, I would really like one. But as a second bike, as you know from watching my vlogs and my videos, I cover large distances, and I would feel this would be a bit too slow and like hard work if I was trying to cover many miles, especially if I was on a motorway. But it's not meant for that. That's not what it's designed for at all. That's what bikes like the BMW GSA are for, and that is in no way belittling this bike or saying it's not good. I completely love it, as I guess you've already guessed. So yes, I'd have it for commuting. I'd have it for green lanes. Every day of the week I would take this out over the BMW on a green lane expedition every day of the week. So I'm going to take it for a ride again, and I'll film a bit of it, and then I'll take it back to the dealership and I'll very sadly hand it back. And who knows, maybe at some point there will be one of these featuring regularly on the channel in different types of videos. So I guess it's time to sum up my thoughts on the Honda CRF300L. For me, it would be a perfect second bike. In fact, it would even be a perfect first bike if the type of tour I undertake was modified and I had unlimited time so that I could pootle along at a slower speed and enjoying the scenery as it passed me by on gnarlier trails. Obviously, you know, people like Itchy Boots, who we've all heard of, have put a machine like this to very good use all around the world. It's perfectly capable of being an around the world bike. For me, at the moment, it would be a perfect second bike, and it's on that note that I'm going to say goodbye. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, even half as much as I enjoyed filming it. I'm going to be sad to hand this back. That's not always the case, but I'm going to be sad to hand this back. And I will see you in the next one. Please like and subscribe, and until next time, bye bye.